This is every inspection your house must pass before you're allowed to live in it. You probably think it's a 2 or 3. Watch this and let's count together. Temporary water, temporary power, layout, plumbing rough, electrical rough, foundation, frame, then plumbing again, top out, electrical again, mechanical, insulation, drywall. Yes, they inspect drywall. Septic 3 separate times, water main, driveway twice, plumbing final, electrical final, mechanical final, and the building final. Some of these inspections required by the county, some by the city, some by utility district, and some of them you will fail and pass again and again before they let you continue. 22. Your house must pass 22 inspections. And if you fail even one, everything stops. Your crew goes home. Your loan keeps eating interest. But 22 is the number if everything goes perfectly. And nothing goes perfectly. Some of these inspections you will fail. I'll show, by the way, which ones. So you are not scheduling 22 inspections. In reality, you're scheduling closer to 30 visits. And every visit is a money. A failed inspection costs about $130 just to bring the man back. And in some places, the fee compounds. So the second failure costs more than the first. And a private inspector is another $150. The bank sends its own before releasing every draw. So the reality is that one house could be about $2,000 to $3,000 just in inspections. And the funny part, sometimes you pay for nothing at all. We had a city inspector come out for plumbing. He walked around the house, couldn't figure out how to get to the work from his side, from that side, should he go inside, and instead of asking anybody, he just left. No inspection, nothing checked. It's not a failure for bad work, a failure because the inspector didn't feel like walking around the building. And you know who pays for the next visit? You do. That's the part nobody warns you about. You are not only paying for your own mistakes, you're paying for someone's mistakes. But there is a part that actually breaks the first-time builders. It's not about money. Usually, for example, your foundation crew is waiting on an inspector who has 23 other stops that day. And your framer cannot start until foundation passes. And for example, your drywall crew is booked for Tuesday, but the electrical top-out failed on Friday for one missing metal plate. So every inspection is scheduling domino, and you are only the person holding the whole chain. That's what nobody tells you. And building the house isn't and 22 inspections. And usually it's a 30 visit paperwork project running in parallel with the actual construction, and every one of these visits belongs to somebody with their own agenda. I'm not Rob Bonder. Come for your first dream home and stay to find out why a grown man with a flashlight will come to your house and count the screws in the walls. That's a real inspection. It's a number 12 on the list. Before we walk the list, you need to know who is coming to your site. 6 different parties. And there is one trick to understand all of them. Ask one question. Who do they protect? The city or county inspector protects the code, the minimum legal standard. He doesn't care if your wall is out of square or if your finish looks terrible. Is it legal? He passes it. That's it. Then municipal utility district, the water district. They protect the water and power system, not your house, their pipes. The bank inspector protects the bank money. He only checks that enough progress happened to release your next draw, nothing more. The warranty company protects the warranty company. They price your warranty based on your inspection reports. The engineer or architect protects the structure they designed, their stamp, their license. And finally, the third-party inspector, $100 visit. He's only one on this list that you hire and the only one protecting your money. Remember him, we will come back to him again. So when people say the inspector, which one? 6 people, 6 agendas, and 0 of them are hired to protect the first-time builder. That's why this feels like a nightmare. Before we walk us through each one, I mapped all 22 in a free inspection tracker who runs each inspection, who they protect, which ones builders most often fail. Links will be in the description. Grab it now, you'll want it open. Let's walk the inspections in order. Inspection 1 and Inspection 2. Before anything else, temporary water and temporary power. The utility company installs the meter and they inspect their own connection. Always the government or the district, never third party. I've seen builders wait months for this. So start them the same day you get your permit. Inspection 3, layout. The inspector check one thing. Is your house standing in the right place on the lot? Sounds stupid, right? But if your foundation crosses a setback line or easement line, they can make you remove that part of the house. Not fix it, remove it. The builders I work with pay a survey company $2,000 to set the envelope, so this inspection is never a question. Inspection 4. Plumbing rough. Every pipe that will live inside your slab, drains, showers, the kitchen, island, ventilation. And here is what nobody tells a first-timer. Your plumber will make a mistake if nobody checks him. And not because he's bad, because he's a human and this is not his house. One of the best builder I know marks every point together with his plumber, with a tape measure himself. So let me tell you why he does that. On one of the projects, the plumber was trusted, the slab was poured, and the toilet pipe was in the center of the room. The center of the room. Concrete doesn't have an undo button, guys. They had to cut the slab, move the pipe, order inspection again, pour again. So around $10,000 for one pipe, 1 meter off. That's why a failed inspection really costs. The inspection is $100. The mistake it catches is usually $10,000. Inspection 5. Electrical rough. Grounding connected to the rebar. Conduits for the island. Floor outlets. If there is no conduit before the pour, there is no outlet in your kitchen island forever. Inspection 6, the big one, foundation pre-pour. The inspector checks rebar size, spacing, the distance between rebar and the ground. The trenches, the plastic vapor barrier. On the side, rain washed soil into the trench and the rebar was touching the ground. The inspector caught it. The crew dug it out by hand. On another project I saw, the trench was 1 foot too shallow, with rebar and plumbing already wrapped inside. They unpacked everything by hand. And here is the strange part. After you pour, no inspection. Nobody ever checks the finished foundation. So pre-pour is a foundation inspection. Whatever the inspector doesn't catch before, pour lives under your house forever. That's what you should remember. So one inspection, one pour, no undo button. And that's still just the foundation. The next one doesn't just stay under your house. It stays on your house's permanent record for life. Inspection number 7, framing. But you can order it whenever you want. Windows must be installed. Sheeting must be on. Then the inspector checks the nail patterns on the sheeting, how many nails, what spacing, the hurricane straps, and the metal plates protecting pipes and wires inside the studs. And I heard that in some jurisdictions, sheeting is its own separate inspection. Now stop 1 second, because this is the most important thing in this video. Of all 22 inspections, only 3 follow your house forever: foundation, frame, and final. When you finish the house, the government asks for exactly these 3 reports to issue a credit certificate of completion. When you buy a structural warranty, the warranty company prices it from exactly these 3. When you refinance, when you sell, these 3 come back every time for the life of your house. Why does it matter to you? Because these are 3 inspectors where you never cut corners, never rush, and always keep the paperwork. The other 19 protect your build. These 3 are your house's permanent record. Those are lock-in. Now get inside the walls, because the next 3 inspections are the ones every builder dreads, including the ones who have done this 20 times. Inspections 8, 9, 10. Plumbing top out, electrical top out, mechanical top out. All the pipes, wires, and ducts inside your walls inspected before drywall hides them. Remember what I told you at the start. 17 houses, not one pass at all 3 top outs on the first try. This is that inspection, and now I'll tell you why that happens and why it's actually good news. It's not a disaster, it's how the system works. 3 different trades, 3 different crews, dozens of small details, a missing nail plate on stud, a pipe touching rebar, wrong spacing somewhere. Their inspection cost $100. Finding that same problem after drywall usually costs you a wall. There are 2 simple rules. First, schedule a gap between the trades. HVAC, go first, biggest pipes, then plumbing, then electrical, then low voltage, from big to small. And leave 3 to 5 days between them for inspection and cleaning. Otherwise, every crew blames the others. This mess that you will see. Second, budget 2 rounds per top out from the start. Then a first time pass is a bonus, not a plan. And when these 3 inspections close, that's the happiest day of the build, because from this point, a builder can tell you almost to the week when the house will be done. 2,500 square foot house, for example, 4 months from top out to completion. Before top out, nobody can promise you anything. After that, it's just your calendar and your counting days. 2 more inspection and the walls close. One of them sounds so bureaucratic that the first time I heard about it, I laughed. And then I understood. Inspection 11. Insulation. Some jurisdiction inspect it. Some just want the certificate from the insulation contractor. Get the certification either way. Your buyer will ask for it. Inspection 12. Drywall. Yes, they inspect screws. How many? What spacing? I saw this was bureaucratic nonsense. Then I understood. Too few screws and in 10 years your walls start popping screws out as the house moves. Walk into a 20-year-old house and look closely at the walls. You'll find the popped screws. That inspector pushing on your drywall corner is protecting you from that. And finally, walls close. Now the inspections move outside, and this is where the most expensive waiting happens. And if you don't have a sewer, you need a septic. So septic will be your inspection number 13, 14, and 15. The tank, the field, and the final. 3 separate inspections. Licensed government engineer. No third party allowed. I know a septic installer with 20 years of experience, and even he has never passed the septic final on the first try. Never. They are the pickiest inspector in Texas and in other states. And Septic has a trap that froze one of our finished house for 2 months. The septic permit is only valid for 1 year. The house was done, the system was installed and working, and the final inspection was ordered. And the answer came back. Permit expired. Not fixing something, just expired. New application, new review, new fees, 2 months of waiting on a completed house that nobody could move into. So here is a 30-second habit that saves you months. The day you receive your septic permit, put the expiration date in your calendar and set the reminder as 3 months before it. Nobody else will remind you. There is no email, you check or you pay again. And the expiration date is one line in the inspection tracker. There are 21 more, each with its own trap. If you haven't grabbed my checklist yet, links in the description. Inspection 16, water main connection. Inspection 17 and 18, driveway pre-pour and driveway final. Yes, 2 inspections for a driveway. Nobody inspects your foundation after the pour, but the driveway gets a final. Why? Honestly, I don't know. I've asked builders, I've asked inspectors, maybe because it touches public land. It's the system, you don't have to understand it, you just have to pass it. And finally, outside done, 4 inspections left. And the very last one fails on things most people never think to check before they call the inspector. The last stretch, inspections 19, 20, 21, plumbing final, electrical final, and mechanical final. And inspections 22, the building final. The one that turns your construction site into a legal house and unblocks the certificate of completion. And the building final fails on the smaller things. For example, true story. The inspector arrives, turns on the dishwasher, it doesn't drain. Failed. What was the reason? A plastic cap inside the disposal connection that the plumber forgot to remove. A 2-second fix, but it's failed inspection. A revisit, another $100, another week. So before you order the final, run every appliance. Flash every toilet, test every outlet yourself. Be your own inspector first. Now, remember the inspector who works for you. Let me give you the best $100 advice you will ever spend on construction site. The city inspector protects the code, the minimum. A third-party inspector, $100, usually $150 per visit, checks what the city never will. Is the frame square? Is the work actually good? Does it match the plan exactly? And here is the real secret. He becomes your bad cop. When you tell your contractor, fix this or fix that, they argue. You are just declined. But when you hand him an independent inspector report, no discussion. Fix the next date. You stay the good guy, the inspector takes the blame, the relationship survives. So this is exactly how the smartest builders I know manage their crews. Across the whole house, that's maybe $2,000 or $3,000 in third-party inspections, against mistakes that cost $1,000 each. There are a lot more to this trick, but that's the next video. And one last story, because one day a report with a scary number will land on your desk. One of the first houses I was part of, the buyer hired his own inspector. The report came back with 64 problems. 64! Heart attack, right? Then we sat down and read it, slowly. Real issues, maybe 10. The other 54, scratches, opinions, and padding. Because that inspector needs to show his client a thick report. That's his incentive. Follow the incentive and the report cannot scare you anymore. So don't fade the list, navigate it. All 22 inspections in order with who inspects each one and who they protect. I put the exact spreadsheet from this video in a free inspection tracker. Link in the description. Print it, tape it to your job site box, check the inspections off one by one. And if you want to go deeper, how all 22 of these fit into the full 12-step build process, the course link and my program in the description.